Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. Okay, so good morning. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you guys back. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well, having a good week so far, and a good morning. Like always, guys, I'm gonna break down the chart, see what's happening, see if we've got any opportunities coming our way. Like always, guys, if you have any pairs that you have in mind or any pairs that you're taking a look at, feel free to share, drop it down in the chat. We'll take a look at it, we'll see what's going on. Or if you know any trades as well, feel free to share. But today I'm going to start with Euro USD. So for this pair, massive move to the downside yesterday. As you can see there, we did have that news around 1:30, I believe, yesterday, and that kicked off and broke to the downside. So I was looking for a move to the upside here for Euro USD yesterday, but as you can see, it didn't really give us an opportunity. And when that news kicked in, we just shot to the downside. So yeah, the market is looking quite bearish there, and actually after that move, I'm probably just going to be expecting more downside for this pair now. It's looking very, very bearish here on the higher time frame, 4H daily, and yeah, we do have this area of support here. If I just drop to the daily chart and I zoom out for a little bit, we've broken through. I haven't broken through, but we're kind of still resting on this support there on the daily. But if I just zoom out a little bit, you can see we do have this support here. We had this nice double bottom before price, skyrocketed to the upside, and I think that's the next target here for Euro USD. That double bottom there will be acting as support again. So if we can break through this, which I do expect us to do so, this is the next level I expect price to head to for Euro USD. As you can see, we are in that area of support now, but with all that momentum, I wouldn't want to be going long against that with all that momentum there. I think the price is just retracing now for another move to the downside, and if we do break through that, will confirm it. Break and retest sort of option, that could be an idea in itself. Or maybe going a little bit aggressive, looking for shorts here, but do remember you're shorting into support. So even though I do expect price to go to the downside, might not be the best opportunity short into the upside, because shorting it into that support, because we well could retrace a lot more, then have that move. So do need to be aware of that. But yeah, Euro USD is looking very, very bearish here. It looks like we're getting some retracement now. So yeah, I'm expecting more downside for Euro USD here. Good morning, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you guys back. Pound USD was the same thing yesterday. As you can see, we broke through that 1.38 barrier of support. I did say as long as we stay above this, I will be looking for longs, but if we do break through, we could go a lot further. Again, the news did take control of that, really. It broke through that, and big move to the downside. So Pound USD, Euro USD, both looking quite bearish here, especially with those moves there yesterday. I know they're fundamental events, but again, they do sometimes pick the direction, and we could see the market start trending in that direction again. And I think if we do keep up this momentum, Pound USD has a good chance of pushing back down to these lows here. So sells all the way back down to the 1.36 mark, does make sense. Does make sense to look for shorts here for Pound USD. Again, with all that momentum, I would not be looking to go long against that. I think after a bit of retracement, we should be seeing continuation to the downside here for Pound USD. Well, let me take a look at the news first, because I'm actually taking a look at the news yet today. So okay, so we do have some CAD news coming up at 1:30 again today, so that's about 3 hours time, and we do have US news as well, USD news at 1:30 as well at the exact same time. So again, both high. Well, there's actually two events for USD, but we've got two currencies with high impact news there at the same time. Again, probably most CAD pairs will be affected by the news. CAD USD maybe a little bit more because it's got USD news as well. So depending on whether that's positive or negative, could really affect USD CAD. But yeah, most pairs should be affected by the CAD news. Well, most CAD pairs actually not most pairs, most CAD pairs. So like CAD JPY, CAD CHF, pound CAD as well, will probably be affected. CAD USD, USD CAD might be a little bit more because we do have USD news as well. So if that's really positive and negative, and CAD's negative, you could really see a big shift in momentum for that pair. So do watch out for that if you're looking at trading those pairs. But yeah, with that in mind, we do have some more news events coming up today again. So again, like I said, for most news events, if I can get in before the news, a good hour, I'd say at least before the news, I'll still look to enter. If it's coming up to like 30 minutes, 20 minutes before the news, I'll just leave it for that, because no need to try and guess it and jump in the news, because often than not that does not end well. So I'll probably leave that be. But if I can find an opportunity on pound USD or Euro USD to short, could be good. Euro USD might not be the best one because we'll come into that support, but I still do expect to see more downside for that pair. Hey William, how are you doing? Good to see you back on the stream. How's your pound JPY trade going? Still looking quite bearish here, yeah. So I mean, where's your TP for pound JPY? Is it at these lows here? Because I mean, it's looking good to get there with all that momentum. Might see a bit of retracement, but yeah, it's still looking good to get down to these lows here, maybe even further as well, because it does look like the pair might be in a reversal. But yeah, still looking good there. Yeah, I'm assuming that you caught the news there for Euro short yesterday with the news. Back of that support, so that looked like it was a good trade. And long USD CAD. Yeah, so USD CAD still looking bullish here. We've broken through this area here, and we're looking quite bullish as well on the daily 4 hour as well. As you can see, we're resting on top of that. So I think if USD CAD just stays on top of that level, we should see some upside for USD CAD. We do have this area of supply there, as you can see. Nice drop to the downside, stalled a little bit, a few wicks to the upside, and then a big rocket to the downside as well. So a nice area of supply, and I do think if we can stay above this level here, that's probably where price is going to go. Test that, might see some downside after that, or we could actually just break through that and go to these highs. But nonetheless, USD CAD is looking bullish still, breaking through that. And yeah, if we can stay above that, I think USD CAD to around 1.26800, maybe 1.27 maybe. Okay, no worries, no worries. Yeah, gold USD CAD. So yeah, I'll start with USD CAD because it's on my screen now. But USD CAD, I'm looking at more upside for this pair. I was looking at some downside yesterday, but we failed to get back below this 1.26 level because I was looking to short from here. But as you can see, we broke through that level and we stayed above. So I'm starting to change my bias for USD CAD to the upside. Again, DXY looks like it's got more upside to it. We haven't quite taken out this high here. As you can see, we have this double top 1, 2 there. I think we'll probably take out the high there, so I can still see more upside for DXY. So I can see more strength for USD. So USD CAD, I'm still looking at upside for this one. We've just broken through that 1.26 barrier, nice psychological level as well. So if you can rest on that as support, which we are doing so far. If I go on the hourly, you can see we've come back to retest it again this morning. So if that keeps up, we do have a little bit of a trend line here. Maybe if we can break through that as well. Yeah, if that keeps up, break through the trend line there as well, I think we should be seeing a move to the upside here for USD CAD and a push back up to this area of supply, which is around 1.26800. So that's 1.27, anywhere in that region, to be fair. But yeah, USD CAD is looking bullish for me, breaking above that. Yeah, as long as we stay above that, do watch out for the support because we could actually break underneath, then come back up and go on. So that could happen, but I think if you can break through the trend line as well, that should confirm it. Create that higher low, sorry, and then yeah, drive back into this area. It does look good. for USD CAD. So yeah, USD CAD more upside as long as we stay above 1.26. And gold I'm favoring some downside. Yesterday we came into our key level of resistance. If I just draw it in now, as you can see, resistance across there, support there, and we've tapped into it yesterday. Saw a little bit of a reaction down the 4H, pull back up again this morning, and I think if we can maintain that, I think gold, we could be dropping to the downside there. We've also got this trend line here I've just noticed for gold. As you can see, multiple tests of this trend line, keeping in that uptrend, and we've actually broken through it there yesterday. So we've come back up, and I think if this is our first lower high, this point here, I do think for gold we could be driving to the downside back into this area here. It's kind of the next target. So gold, I'm looking at downside. We are pulling into a little bit of an area here that might cause a bit of a push up, but nonetheless it's looking like gold should be pushing to the downside here. Also another trend line there, looks like price is just broken out of that as well. So we've got two trend line breaks there. You can see a bit more clearer on the 15-minute. So broken through the first one, broken through the second one. So yeah, I think downside here for gold is looking good here. We do have price support here, which is now turned resistance, and it looks like price is respecting that so far. So yeah, I'm thinking more downside for gold, back down to around the 1772 area, which lines up with that support. Kind of next logical target you probably expect a gold to come to. Might go a lot further actually, because on the higher time frames, again, this is the key level I was looking for price to come to this week, and we could be seeing a bigger reaction back down to this support here, which is around the 1760 mark. So gold could see a lot more downside, but I won't be too aggressive with that shorting gold, because again, my bias for gold is still to the upside long term. So I'm a bit more hesitant shorting gold, simply because of that reason. Any longs, I'll be a lot more confident getting into. I could probably look to be a bit more aggressive and ride that trade a little bit more. But shorts, I think it's going to be, quick and precise, because gold can switch bullish at any point really. So yeah, I'm looking at some downside here for gold, back down to this support, and then maybe back down to 1760 as well. But from one of these two levels, I think gold will probably push to the upside back into that level, maybe try and go break through it. So that's probably what I'm expecting there for gold. And again, DXY wants to go up, gold normally moves in the opposite direction, so hopefully we can see DXY starting to push back into these highs here around 93,200, and if we can make some new highs, then gold, more often than not should be pushing to the downside if the DXYs can start pushing up again. And likewise Euro USD as well. If the DXY is pushing up, Euro USD should be pushing down. The only thing about Euro USD is we're coming into that daily support, so not the best area to short Euro USD at, but nonetheless, if the price action starts to look good, I'll probably be inclined to take a short, expecting that to break and move back down to those lows there. I think a break and retest will probably be the more sensible option. Wait for price to really break through that, come back up maybe tomorrow or something, and then take it down. But if the price action does get better, I'll probably look to short. Right now it's not that clear, and we do have news at 1:30, so I think at 12 or maybe 12:30, probably the latest, I'll look to get into Euro USD, and if I don't, I'll just let it settle, wait for the news to come, and then reanalyze and look for more opportunities after that. As you can see, yesterday I wasn't getting any entry signals there, and then it came to around, I think, 1ish or 12:45, and I was like, I'll just leave it alone. And as you can see, massive move to the downside there. So it's definitely important to not try and guess the news, and it's good if you can get in early, because then you can get stops to break even maybe if you're on profit, or take some partials off, so you're not risking your full R or your full percentage of your capital. But yeah, if there's nothing there, we'll just leave it, see what happens after the news and tomorrow. USD JPY still biased to the downside for this pair, looking at more downside. Again, looks like we're in retracement mode, but like I said at the start of the week, I'm still biased to the downside for USD JPY. So even if we do start pushing to the upside, I'll just be getting ready to sell the pair, because my targets for this week are these lows here. About halfway through the week already, so maybe we can get there, might not. We might get back to these previous lows again, so might see another push back down again, but nonetheless USD JPY is looking good for some shorts. We do have this level which price is pushing back into. If I take that across, you can see prior support here, really nice move to the upside. False break there, was acting as support there again, nice move. So it's tested that support really well, and if it can hold as resistance, it should provide us with a nice move to the downside. So that's what I'm going to be looking for USD JPY, a push back into that level there. Then if we can get a break back down to these lows here, looks good as well. So I'm looking at downside here. We can see there's wicks there on USD JPY. You can see wicks there as well, wicks. So it is showing signs that USD JPY is running out that bullish steam. Potentially could be getting ready to reverse to the downside now, especially with all that price action. You can see here massive momentum to the upside, and all that momentum is kind of just exhausted, depleted, and now we're getting ready for a move to the upside. With saying that as well, it could mean that we're going to get an explosive break as well. So more often than not, it does mean that price will break to the downside, but sometimes if price wants to take people out, it normally does a big break up, comes back down, and then we see the move. So it's always important not to get in too early, because false breaks are quite common, and you don't want to be a victim of that. It's better to wait for the false break and get in after, then try and guess it. But right now, with all those wicks, it's really looking like price could be pushing to the downside quite soon. If we go in the 15 minute, a little bit choppy in the 15 minute, I'm not going to lie. Maybe if you start pushing form lower high, something like that, that could be a nice inviting entry point there. Stops above there, take it to the downside. But yeah, USD JPY has pushed into a really key area, and if that price action does keep up, I think shorts will be looking good. Again, another USD pair that probably will be affected by the news coming later today, so make sure you're aware of that. And if you don't like trading the news, just wait for after the news to come around. But yeah, USD JPY looks good. USD CHF, another USD pair as well. This pair, a massive move to the downside recently. Right now, still looking bearish, and I think we've just come up here for a double top. So price has come to test that, fell to the downside, come to test it again, forming that double top, and pushing to the downside. So I think we could be seeing a little bit more downside for USD CHF unless it kind of holds onto this support, which it is doing so far. So we need to see a daily close below that for us to really confirm that double top there, and probably a push back into these lows, because if that stays intact, we could actually have the opposite and have a head and shoulders here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, big push to the upside. So that is still on the cards there for USD CHF. So again, definitely important to see a daily close below this area, and then you scale down on the lower time frames and ride it to the downside. But so far we're just about holding on to that support. So if that does keep up for USD CHF, we could actually be having another drive to the upside. So I think with USD CHF, big move up, big move down is on the cards. Just need to see what price action is giving us. Here on the 4H, we've stalled a little bit, nice move down, back up again, so a bit of a false break there, and I think we're in some nice consolidation there again. So again, as an opportunity, is not really there yet. I'll probably wait for the daily candle to see how it closes, but so far it looks like we're just getting a bit of consolidation. So maybe if we break out this consolidation to the upside, looks like we're trying to break to the downside, but if we can come up, break to the upside, retest it, and that give us an inclination, I can't say that word, that price is probably going to push to the upside. But if it starts to break to the downside past these lows, it probably means that we're going to get a breakout to the downside, but nothing there yet. Pound JPY, another JPY pair that just seems to be falling out of the sky this week. Again, for this pair, I was looking for some nice retracement earlier in the week, but we haven't got that. We're getting some retracement now, so that is a good thing. It means that we could be getting ready for some opportunities. Again, we've had this area of support here, now turn resistance. So I reckon if we can hold on to this as resistance, I can see some downside for pound JPY back into this area here, which is kind of like the 150 mark. As you can see, prior resistance before we had that momentum. So I think we can come down, retest that at least. I do think we can come down and retest this daily area, but again, better to be safe. Safe than sorry. But yeah, so key area support, now turn resistance. We're going to the lower time frames hourly. You can see sorry, oh excuse me, you can see that we are still looking quite bullish there. So yeah, there's nothing there yet for pound JPY. We could well still break through this to the upside. If that's the case, again, we might be seeing a deeper retracement, which is probably a good thing, because over the past few days now, we've really been falling to the downside. So if it does do that bigger retrace, maybe back down, back up to this area here, it means that when we do find resistance, it's probably like a good sell off to the downside there, and the risk reward will be much greater as well. But pound JPY is still biased to the downside. I'm still expecting 150, maybe even 149,500 as well. Hey Chia, how are you doing? Hope you are doing well. Welcome back to the stream. Any pairs that you're looking at today? Any pairs on your watch list? So far, I think the pair that is most tickling my fancy is USD JPY shorts. We've had a massive move to the downside. We've seen some nice retracement back into this level here, around 109,600, and I think we could be on for some nice shorts to the downside here. So this is the pair that I'm looking at now. I've seen some nice wicks to the upside as well. Couple there, some more there. So it's looking good so far. I don't like the wicks to the downside there, indicating the price is still finding support. But if you can push down, find a lower high, something like that, I will look to get involved in some shorts, maybe on the 15-minute time frame, back down to this area of support, and maybe even these lows here. So yeah, I would say USD JPY looks the best to me so far, or fits my criteria the best so far. CAD JPY, again another JPY pair. I'm still expecting downside for this one. Again, we've had a massive drop to the downside recently. We've broken through this area, which was the area that I was looking for price to come back into, which I still am looking for price to come back into. But yeah, we might not get that because price is so bearish here. I think we're having a bit of consolidation here now. And if you can break out of that to the downside, I think we'll probably just see that continuation back down to these lows. It'd be great if you can have a bit of a false break up to this area and then see the move. But if we don't get that, then it probably means that we're just going to fall to the downside anyway. But yeah, CAD JPY is still looking quite bearish, and we're seeing some consolidation. So if that starts to shape it up, I think we could be seeing some nice sells again for CAD JPY. But yeah, I fancy USD JPY just a little bit more. CHF JPY, Euro JPY, let me take a look at that. CHF JPY. So CHF JPY, looking for sells, buys. Yeah, so on the daily, it looks like we're finding some support here. So yeah, daily's kind of looking very bullish. Again, not the best sign when it's this early on, and we've still got over 11 hours before that daily candle closes, and a lot can happen in 11 hours, especially with some news events coming out later. Might affect CHF JPY as well. But yeah, we are looking quite bullish there on the daily with that candle, of course, and it does look like the market is finding higher lows here. So that's the double bottom, higher low here, pushing to the upside. So it looks like CHF JPY is starting to trend to the upside a little bit, which is fair enough, because look at the drop that we had there. not much retracement. We could still push back into this area over here and then come down maybe, something like that. But yeah, we are looking bullish here. I think CHF JPY should be pushing to the upside, especially with the price action that I've just seen. Okay, yeah, you are looking for buys, so yeah, it makes sense as well. Yeah, CHF JPY looks like it should be heading to the upside there with that price action. And yeah, come and test this area of supply here, maybe even further, but that's probably where I would look to target. As you can see, we found resistance, support, resistance there as well. So yeah, that's probably where I'll look to target. But yeah, CHF JPY is looking good. Maybe if we can come down one more time, form another low high, something like that. Good buys up there again. A bit of a trend line here as well. First, second, third, fourth. So yeah, trend line intact, more upside for CHF JPY. I do agree with that one. Not my favorite pair, but it does look like a good opportunity there. If we can see, another entry signal. Euro JPY, let's see what's going on with that pair as well. Euro JPY fell to the downside quite strongly as well. It looks like, have we taken out that wick? Yes, we have. So we have taken out that wick there. As you can see, massive dump to the downside, and after that it did generate all of this move to the upside. So that's an important wick that needs to be taken out, because there's a lot of liquidity there, a lot of buy orders there, long orders there to drive this to the upside. So if we can take out that wick, that's a good thing, because it does mean that the market could now start to see some upside. Again, we haven't taken out the wick with a crazy amount of pips, but we have taken it out. For me, yeah, I just don't like the pair too much, because it just looks a little bit too bearish for me, especially with that candle there. But normally when you do see price consolidate a little bit, have a big move up, and start to see the move back up again, it normally does mean that we might be in a bit of a false break here. So we've had that consolidation, false break, coming back up again, and we could do something like this, push up and then push up again. And again, that'll probably be another head and shoulders pattern sort of there, which it does happen quite a lot in the market, especially when we have consolidation and a big move, because they normally try to take people out or have people looking to short that now, because we're breaking to the downside. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of it already. A little bit more development for me. If you can push on, come back, show some rejection there, then I'll probably look to get involved in some longs, because we have had a quite an aggressive push to the downside, and the market does need to see some retracement. So I can see price pushing back up, maybe even to go and retest areas like so up here. I can see that happening with Euro JPY. Normally after we do see such an aggressive push, we normally do see quite aggressive pullbacks as well. So yeah, if there is a buying opportunity, it should be good if it does pull off, especially with all that momentum. Now you do expect to see similar momentum in the opposite direction. CHF JPY looks a little bit better for me. It might have really gone a little bit, to be fair. If we can come back down one more time, that would be great. So if you're not really involved, you can still look to get in, but your stop loss might be a little bit big. So if you can retrace a little bit, that would be great. But yeah, I'd probably prefer CHF rather than Euro. But nonetheless, if Euro JPY gives that opportunity, it should be a good buy. So yeah, main pair focusing on is USD JPY shorts. We've got about 19 minutes before that candle closes, and it's giving us another wick there. So I want to see if price can take out that support there. We've got these wicks here on the hourly. I don't like those wicks at all. So if we can start to take that out, that'd be great. I think we might have a little bit of a trend line here as well. So maybe take that out, trend line as well, give that extra confirmation. But yeah, nonetheless, we'll get those wicks. So rejection is there. Now I just need to see that conviction to the downside there, and bears starting to step into the market on the hourly. I can look to get involved, but USD JPY shorts do look good. Euro USD still looking like it's retracing to the upside. Again, I do still expect retracement, because we're still at that key daily support. As you can see there, it did fund this massive move up, and now we're back at that same area again. So we do have that bearish price action. I do think we can actually have a break through that, because we have only just about, with today's candle, taking out these prior lows here. And I think we can really, really go for it, as in see a big breakdown and then maybe come up again. for Euro USD. Again, the price action is not there yet for that, but it's an idea to think about. But yeah, it's in retracement mode, so I'm going to leave that alone, see what happens for the Euro USD. Maybe we can retrace a little bit more, that'd be great, take it back down. But yeah, Euro USD, I'm seeing more downside. USD CAD, like I said, if we can stay above 1.26, I'm seeing more upside for that pair as well. I think we're coming into that trend line there on the hourly, as you can see with those wicks, with those bodies. But I think if we can break through the trend line and say that, and then we can see a bit more upside for USD CAD. But yeah, as long as we stay above 1.26, I'm seeing more upside. If we get back below, it might just be a false breakout, and then we could actually see a lot more downside. But we'll judge that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to that. But for now, it looks like it's still bullish and still holding quite firmly above that 1.26 area of support. DXY, sure thing. DXY, so DXY, big move to the upside. I was expecting to see a move to the downside of the DXY this week, so I wanted to see price come back into these areas here. Nice area of supply, test that and then come up, but it's actually formed support slightly higher on before it pushed up. And then of course the news did play a big part to us seeing that momentum to the upside. For the DXY now though, especially after that move, for me I would say it's looking quite bullish. I think USD is going to see a bit more strength, because you can see we've got this double top here, sort of test it once, test it twice. We haven't actually taken out that high, and I think especially with all that momentum there, I think we're just getting ready to take out that high before we do come down. I think long term we'll probably will see USD weakness, but I don't think we'll see much USD weakness for the rest of the week with that price action. I know that could change, but from looking at it right now, it doesn't look like we will. We do have some USD news coming out in a bit, so unless that's negative, then yeah, we could see a move to the downside for the DXY, maybe coming back into this support here, maybe see some upside from there, something like that. So yeah, that could happen, but I think DXY is retracing and getting ready for another move to the upside, is what I think. We've got some support here, so we could actually retrace all the way back down there, then see that upside. But I think we're going to take out this level here first for the DXY, then maybe yes, we might turn around again. But from what I'm looking at now, it looks like I'm seeing more upside for the DXY, so I'm expecting strength in the USD over the next couple of days or so. So yeah, I'm thinking a bit more upside for the DXY. But of course, like I said, with the news coming out, if that's negative, very negative, it could obviously take DXY down, and we could be looking at a much different chart. But as it stands, I'm seeing more upside. We might still be in some retracement to the downside, so yes, we might see a little bit of weakness, but I think that's just going to be short-lived for a move back up again. Hence why I'm expecting a little bit more downside for pound USD and for Euro USD as well. You can see pound USD, big drop to the downside there yesterday. I think we can come back into these areas here. Nice double bottom there, as you can see. 1, 2, nice move up. I think we can come back and retest that as support. So yeah, I think pound USD is getting ready for some more sells. We're so far, in this area of support there, so we might see a little bit more upside for the pound USD. Hence why, DXY might retrace a little bit more as well. Might come up like that, retest that. That'll be great. And then sell that back off again, similar to Euro USD as well, bear upside and sell it to the downside there as well. So that's what I'm seeing for those pairs. And yeah, I think DXY is just going to do the exact opposite. AU, we saw a big drop as well, as you can see, taking out that support, very key support here in the market, and we just broke through that quite aggressively yesterday, especially for all that momentum. Again, the news did play a part, but yeah, it's still looking very, very bearish here. And yeah, I think AUD, it's looking good for, I wouldn't say more downside, because I mean, yes, more downside because it's, look at the daily there, still looking very bearish. We can go a lot further, but I wouldn't look to sell. That's why I'm not saying more downside. I'll definitely wait for price to retrace a little bit, find some resistance, and then get involved. Definitely not look to sell that. If anything, maybe in the lower time frames, maybe you can get involved, taking advantage of the retrace. But again, it's just a bit too aggressive with me, especially with all that momentum there. I don't like really trading against when the market is looking like that. Prefer to trade with it than against it, but we'll see what happens there. USD, imagine the same thing as well. So yeah, USD, we just about taken out that prior low. So yeah, I'm thinking more downside for USD as well. I did say yesterday a bit of retracement, then take this down again. Again, this was a nice area. We haven't quite hit that area yet, so it looks like USD might just continue without that. But nonetheless, still looking for sales. So if you do see any valid opportunities to sell this pair, I think you should be on the money there with this one, because it's still looking very, very bearish here. Still seeing more downside, and if that DXY does keep up its strength, we should push on. I think NZD alone is just weak anyway, so hence it's looking quite bearish right now. Same with AU as well. I think that currency is just weak as well right now as well. That's why we're pushing to the downside, whereas Euro USD is pushing up, and same with pound as well. I think pound's pushing up as well. So yeah, pound trying to push up as well. So definitely AU and NZD are just weak right now, and I think if you do see that USD strength come in, those two pairs could really kick off later today if the news is positive for the USD. Gold for this one, still expecting more downside for gold. It'd be nice for price to come up, retest that, form a lower high, then come back down again in the lower time frames. You can see we've had, if I just zoom out actually, you can see for gold, we've got this trend line here in the market, which price is actually finally broken out of. And I do think we can see some downside, and I drew this second trend line in, and as you can see, we've broken through that again. So we should be pushing to the downside here for gold, and I think this potential here could be our first lower high. If it is our first lower high, I do expect to see a drive back down into these lows here, and a push back down into these lows as well, around 1772. And as for entries, I'll probably wait for price to make that lower high on the 15-minute, and then yeah, look to short that back down again. You can see right now kind of consolidating after we broke through that trend line. So yeah, if we can form a lower high, that would be great. I drew this level in here, so maybe if the price stalls there, we could kick off from there, or if we do push up again, retest that trend line, that would be great. Lower high there as well, drive back down. Nonetheless, only looking for sells. If we start just to trickle to the upside like that, push on, take out that high, I'll probably just leave gold alone, because it probably means we're coming back into this resistance, either to retest it or to break through and and keep that trend going to the upside. So yeah, if that does happen, I would stay away from gold. But yeah, looking for that lower high to form on the 50-minute or the 30-minute, and then I think shorts do look good to the downside to that 1772 area there, to this area down there. So that's what I'm looking for gold. And if you can get that retracement, that would be great. And if that's the lower high, stops can go above there. If you want to be a bit more safe, again, stops can go above this zone around the 1796 mark. I'll probably put my stops just above that area though, maximize the risk to reward. Because if you do take that level out, more often than not, the trade is probably going to fail anyway. But then yeah, looking at 1772 and maybe 1760, but 1772 looks good. And again, if DXY can push up, that would be great, because it should send USDJY down. I mean, not USDJY, gold down. Yeah, looking at some shorts for USDJY as well. So far, nothing there, but I do have my eye on that. USDCHF, it looks like it's trying to break out that consolidation to the downside. If we're going to look to break to the upside, that would be great. If it does break to the downside, probably means we're going to have another drive back into these lows and might go a little bit further, but we'll wait for that breakout to be confirmed before I look to guess anything. Yeah, Euro AUD, sure thing. I'll take a look at that now. Euro AUD, yeah, still looking bullish for this pair. Like I said yesterday, I'm still seeing more upside for Euro AUD. I said yesterday it would be nice to see a bit of retracement, and then we could take it back up again, something from like here. Nice area of demand there, so we can come back, tap into that area, then push on. However, as you can see, we're forming some support there. It looks like price is failing to break through, and I believe we just we just almost taken out that previous high. So I think that's what your AUD is going to do, to take out that high there of that wick. So I'm seeing another push to the upside. I said also, if we have another drive back into this area, that would be great as well. So if you can push on up to there, that'd be a nice area to look to sell from. But yeah, for me, it's still looking bullish. I mean, I personally wouldn't look to sell. I know we're at resistance here, so yeah, we might form a double top, come back down again. But if you go in the higher time frames and you see the momentum is firmly with the buyers, with the bulls, the success rate of that opportunity is not that good, and the probability is not really that much in your favor. If anything, I'll probably wait for price to retrace and give a nice buying opportunity. And then take it back up again. But yeah, and then that's the only time I'll look to buy. I wouldn't look to sell that. It's too bullish. Maybe if price action starts to change and we come back down again after rejecting that, form a lower high, then yes, sales will look good. But for me, UAD is still looking bullish, and I do think we'll push on, break through the prior high, create some new highs, maybe push up to 1.62500, and then from there we might take a dive to the downside. Or if we do reject this area, come down, form another low, higher low, then we can drive that back up again. But yeah, EUR/AUD, I don't think it's the pair to look to sell just yet. Maybe if price action does change, but not now. It's looking too bullish. And yeah, I don't really like taking those type of opportunities anyway as well. So if price can come down, look for buys. If you do break that, create a higher high around the 1.62500 mark, which kind of meets up with this trend line here, first, second, third, then yeah, could look for sells there. But I think that's the only opportunities I will be looking for EUR/AUD. Only way I'll look to sell the pair at this level here is if you start changing to bearish price action, as we come down, form a lower high, and then take it down, something like that. That would be good. But if that doesn't happen, then yeah, I'll only be looking for buys until we break through that level. Same thing for pound AUD. I think pound AUD has already taken out its prior high actually. Yeah, as you can see, we've actually taken out that high there. So yeah, price is still looking bullish here for pound, and we'll probably continue further, especially with the weakness we're seeing in AU recently. EUR/AUD is heading up, pound AUD is heading up, AUD USD is heading down, AUD JPY is heading down. Pretty much all AUD pairs are heading down because again we are seeing that weakness there. So don't really want to go against that. I know that could change, but as of right now, we are seeing that weakness, and we have pretty much seen that weakness since last week, really. So, yeah, those pairs are quite weak, and I'll probably expect to see those highs getting taken out. And if I go in the daily, you can see momentum is firmly with the bulls as well. So, don't really want to look to sell, and if you are looking to sell, it's got to be short term on the lower time frames, in and out quite quickly, because we could change to bullish very quickly here and just see that momentum take on to the upside. Yeah, sure thing, happy to help. If anyone else wants me to look at any different pairs, just let me know, drop it down in the chat, I'll take a look at it. Or any opportunities I've missed, let me know, drop it in the chat, I'll take a look at it as well. Again, the main pair I'm focusing on is USD JPY for some shorts, and gold as well, to be fair, gold as well for some shorts as well. If you can get that, that'd be great. But yeah, those are the main pairs I'm focusing on. for some shorts. If USD/JPY does break through that, then I'll probably wait for it to see if we can find some resistance higher up, and then I'll look to short it down. I'm not really looking to buy USD/JPY. It has to do a lot for me to want to buy the pair. I'm just waiting for an opportunity to sell it. And if it's not this level and it pushes on, you know, I still have eyes on this level here as well. You can take that back down into that level there. So yeah, I'm just looking to sell the pair. So far at a nice area, and if resistance does keep up, I'll look to short there, and if it pushes onto that level, I'll look to short there as well. And gold, I'm just waiting for that lower high to be formed, and then I'll look to take it down. So far respecting that resistance, which is nice. So maybe if we can break out this consolidation to the downside with a nice candle. That's a really poor candle, but imagine that's a candle. And then yeah, that could be a nice sell with stops just above that high there, and then target that level and maybe that level there as well. Hey, how was your flight? Hope it went well. Okay, nice one, nice one. What happened to CAD JPY? Did we push up? Okay, yeah, CAD JPY. I think, yeah, I think you're getting sales around there. CAD JPY did push up, break even. That's not too bad there. I mean, yeah, like I said yesterday, CAD JPY. You know, I think you are still trading in the right direction to the downside. I'm still seeing sales for this one, but just because I don't really like it when it's had this, you know, massive sell off to the downside and it hasn't really retraced much. So I just want to see price retrace a little bit more, and I think shorts will look good maybe later today or Thursday maybe. I think shorts will be looking good, but you know, with the price that we've seen recently. This week anyway, you know, we've seen that price doesn't have to retrace much before it does continue, so that could have well pushed on, but we you know, we never know. But yeah, CAD JPY, I'm still looking for sales for this one. Probably a bit more retracement, then take it back down again. Are you looking at any other pairs today, or are you still looking at CAD JPY for sales, or looking at Euro USD again? Okay, that's good to hear. What you're looking for? CAD JPY head and shoulders. Which time frame? Which time frame are you looking for that head and shoulders? Or are you looking for this? That's really poorly drawn, my bad. Something like that on the daily, because that could be in play. I mean, if that does happen, that means we finally see some healthy retracement there for CAD JPY, so shorts will be looking good again. I mean, as long as we stay below that high there, I'm still expecting CAD JPY to push down to 85,500, these lows here. Weekly head and shoulders. Okay, so I'm assuming left shoulder there, head, right shoulder there, and then sell off to the downside. So yeah, I mean, same thing with the daily really. We're still expecting more downside for this one, weekly, daily, 4 hour. I'm still expecting more downside for CAD JPY really. So no, I'm agreeing there. We just need to find out how much CAD JPY wants to retrace before we do see that continuation. CAD JPY, I was pointing out this key level which we've broken through recently, as you can see. Support twice, third time, false break, now we're broken through. If we can come back up, retest that, that'll be great. And I think we can set it back down into this. Oh, what is that? That's just poorly drawn. Back down to there. So that's what I'm seeing there for CAD JPY. If we do push on above this, it probably means that we want to have a deeper retracement, maybe back into this area here. Resistance there, false break, resistance, test that, then sell off. Either way, it still looks like a good opportunity to sell. And yeah, I'm not really interested in buying CAD JPY. So expecting a push into these lows here. I'm not sure if it will be done by the end of the week, but if you can come up, reject this area one more time, then yeah, I would look to get involved in some sales to the downside there for CAD JPY. Yeah, Euro USD, still seeing more downside for this pair. Again, we are trading at support, so very, very strong support. Big move up again. We're back at that area for the third time. But I think it's time to see this area get broken and really push through. I just highlighted this area here on the daily where we had this nice double bottom, and I do think the market has a good chance of filling that gap to the downside if we can break through that support. So yeah, more shorts for Euro USD is looking good. If I go in the 4H time frame, you can see we found resistance here last time. I think if we can hold that, we could see that push to the downside. So far, we're seeing price leaves that momentum there on the 4 hourly, a nice bearish candle there. So we could be in for like a little head and shoulders sort of thing, because we found resistance here early on in the Asian session. Coming into London, we broke through, so this could be just the fake out, and now we're seeing price come right back down again. So I think if we could see something like that, then we should be heading to the downside, back down to these lows here, maybe even further as well, 1.68 maybe, or even down to that zone all the way down there. I probably wouldn't sell that all the way down to that zone, but yeah, I'm looking at more downside for Euro USD here. So yeah, if we can respect that zone, which we are doing on the 4H, and again, we do have some news coming out soon, so that should play some sort of impact on the USD. CAD as well, we do have some CAD news as well. But yeah, I'm firmly biased to the downside for Euro USD. Same thing for Pound as well. Pound USD, biased to the downside. It's broken to the downside, still treating that as retracement, and with the price action we're seeing there, I think we're looking good for another push to the downside, back down to these lows and maybe even further. Gold, I'm still looking at that lower high to be formed on the 15-minute. If we can start breaking through these lows, so far there's not much there. Again, I probably want to see price push up, create the lower high there, respect that trend line again as resistance, and then come down. That would be a nice opportunity there. But of course we don't have to, and if you do start taking out these lows here, I'll probably look to get involved as well. When is the news? The news is, if I just go check again, just to be sure, the news is in about 2.5 hours from now. It's at 1:30 GMT. So I don't know which time zone you're in, but for GMT, it's at 1:30, which is about 2.5 hours from now. Which is for CAD, and we have also USD news at the same time, 1:30 GMT, 2.5 hours from now for USD as well. So we've got CAD and USD news, both high impact, and we do have some USD news later in the day, 7 p.m. GMT as well, so that's much later into the day. But yeah, another high impact news event as well. So we do have some high impact news events today, probably will have some type of impact in the market, so do watch out for that. But about in a couple hours, just above a couple of hours from now, we do have some news for the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. So make sure you're watching out for that. And like I said, if I can get involved in a pair before that, I'll probably look to enter. But if it starts coming down to 30 minutes, an hour before, I'll probably just leave it and wait for the news to happen, and then wait for everything to settle. Then look to get involved probably tomorrow. Yeah. Tonight we've got FOMC at 7 p.m. GMT. So yeah, that should have an impact on these pairs. I mean, we've seen a lot of news events recently, to be fair. A lot of big moves been happening for fundamental reasons. I mean, a lot of them have been lining up with technicals, so technicals are still winning. Well, in my opinion anyway, still winning. So the majority of news events do happen in the direction of technicals. Some don't, of course, but nothing's 100% true anyway. No, I'm not in any trades right now. I was looking at getting involved in EURUSD yesterday, but I didn't get any signal for that one, so I didn't get involved. And today I'm looking at USD JPY shorts from this area here. So I'm looking to get in some trades here to short this back down, but still looking a little bit too bullish for me. But if you're going to hold into this area, I will look to get in some shorts, and the gold as well. I'm looking to get into some shorts fairly soon. To be fair, if we can break through that consolidation to the downside, I'll probably look to get involved with gold and have my stop just above this high here, because I think this could be our first level high, and then I do suspect to see more downside to take out this level there and push down to that level there. So yeah, gold and USD JPY is what I'm focusing on. So far gold looks a lot better, so yeah, I'm looking to get short on gold to take it to the downside, but yeah, not in any trades currently. Are you looking at getting involved in any trades? You're looking to get involved in Euro USD? Because this one could be looking good for some shorts. USD CAD looking good for some longs there. If you do break through that trend line, like I did say, we broke through that key level yesterday of 1.26. Nice resistance going across there. We broke through that. And we're resting above that. And I said if we can hold 1.26 as support, I'll probably flip my bias to the upside. So yeah, I flipped my bias to the upside, and I'm seeing another drive back into here, 1.26800, this area of supply. So that's what I'm expecting. USD CAD to head to. It's looking good for some longs now. I wouldn't say we've broken through the trend line just yet, because even though if I join the trend line there, we're kind of closed at the trend line, so it's not really a confirmed break of that. But yeah, the momentum that we're seeing now is looking good. So I think if we can come down, form a lower high, higher low, sorry, I keep saying that, form a higher low, and then yeah, we look good for some buys back up to this area here, 1.26800. So that's looking good there for USD CAD. And like I said, expecting that strength in the DXY to be coming through. Oh, my bad. Expecting that strength in the DXY to be coming through. So yeah, USD CAD expecting more upside. Pound USD expecting more downside. Again, pound is a little bit strong, so that might not be as smooth as the other trades. But yeah, pound USD, if we do get an opportunity, shorts do look good. Euro USD, shorts look good as well. AUD shorts look good. I mean, this one's really bearish anyway. AUD is quite weak as well, so we're seeing that push to the downside anyway, pretty much without seeing USD not be that strong because AU is weak. Same thing for NZD USD as well. NZD is quite weak. As you can see, we're really pushing to the downside there. So yeah, I'm expecting more downside for those pairs. And then yeah, USD CAD to the upside. And gold as well to the downside if you can start forming a breakout potentially. Okay, yeah, that's a good thing because a lot of people don't know that, to be fair. A lot of people wouldn't know where the weaknesses are, so hence keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. And it's an important thing to recognize where your weaknesses are and where your strengths, because then you can play to that. And this in Forex or whatever thing you're trying to trade, it's not about trying to be the best at everything. It's just knowing what you're good at and perfecting that, and getting a lot better, because you don't really have to trade every single pair. And if your success rate is a lot better with CAD JPY and Euro USD than other pairs, then just focus on them pairs as well. I mean, not all the time Euro USD or CAD JPY will present a good opportunity, so you might have to look at some other pairs to get involved with. But if there's an opportunity for Euro USD or USD JPY, pick Euro USD every single day of the week. But yeah, there won't always be an opportunity with those two pairs, but when it does come around, make sure you're there to take it. Euro pound. Euro pound. Yeah, it's a good indicator for me. For euro and pound. If euro pound looks like it's still on that downtrend, then in my head long term I'm still thinking euro is going to be weak in the pound. So I try to use, if I'm looking for sells, I probably look to sell euro USD rather than pound USD, just because I do see more weakness in the euro than the pound according to Euro GBP. And on the flip side, if euro is going to be stronger, look to buy that one rather than pound. But yeah, I do use Euro GBP. Same thing with AUD NZD as well. That's a good indicator for AUD USD and NZD USD as well. If AUD NZD looks quite bearish, the better sell is obviously AU rather than NZD. Euro pound. For me, downside. I'm expecting more downside for Euro GBP. Again, for this one, we have been in that downtrend for quite some time actually. As you can see, respecting that trend line quite well. We'll come back up to that trend line again, and I'm expecting to see another type of reaction to the downside from that. Yesterday we were looking quite bullish during the stream, and I did say we still do have quite a long time left before that candle closes, so there was a good chance that price was going to pull back, and it did. So yeah, I'm expecting more downside for Euro GBP here. It looks like we're forming a lower high there. So yeah, I think Euro GBP should be pushing to the downside, respecting that resistance really well. Maybe a drive back into this sort of area there where we've got all these spikes to the downside, back down to the 0.84950 area. So yeah, Euro GBP, I'm seeing some downside for that pair. So it looks like euro should be weaker than the pound. Obviously, if we start breaking to the upside here, then that will probably change. But the price action we got now, so it looks like euro pound wants to take a drop to the downside. So yeah, euro should be weaker than the pound. So euro USD, should be pushing to the downside a lot better. And as you can see, so far we are. Euro USD is looking a little bit bearish now. Pound USD, not so much. So yeah, if I'm looking to sell it, I'll probably rather sell Euro USD. But at the end of the day, the success of both the trades will probably be quite similar. You know, even if you do sell pound USD instead, because more often than not they do move in the same direction, Euro USD and pound USD, but they do alter because the strengths of Euro and pound won't always be the same. So they do change, hence why Euro GBP does move. But yeah, Euro's looking a little bit weaker now. So yeah, I'll probably expect to see a lot more fluidity and a better move to the downside for Euro USD rather than pound. And yeah, it's looking like we are respecting that resistance there in the 4.8. So yeah, I think we can see some downside for Euro USD. Ultimate target's back down at the 1.16200 mark, but I'm not expecting for price to hit that this week anyway. You know, we're looking quite bearish here. You know, that's the target, that support. I'm not expecting price to hit that this week, maybe not even next week, but sometime I think we could. But yeah, it's looking bearish. I think we could be warming up for another move to the downside there. USD JPY still looking a little bit too bullish for me, so there's a good chance that if we can hold this, we'll take a dive. But if we don't, and that price action does keep up, because as you can see, we do have these wicks to the downside here, which I don't like. We could actually spike to the upside, and that's the case. I'll let price be, see if we can come back down again. If it doesn't and it starts pushing on, then yeah, I'll leave USD JPY alone and start looking if we can get to that level up there to sell it back down again. But you know, we're coming to this really strong level, so if we can hold that, that'll be great. If we don't, we don't. But if we do get something there, I will just short it back down again, back into these lows, and then maybe even further as well. Sure, no problem. I'm happy to help. Again, if anyone else wants me to take a look at any pairs, feel free to drop it in the chat. We'll take a look here. We'll see if we've got any opportunities coming our way. Or if anything I missed as well, just drop it in the chat and I'll take a look at it. Yeah, see what's going on. But yeah, USJPY, I'm looking at more downside for this pair. See if we can get that gold as well. So far, kind of consolidating on the 15-minute. If we can break to the downside, probably look to get involved in this pair because we've broken 1, 2 trend lines now. Yeah, I'm starting to look bearish here, and this is potentially our first lower high. As you can see, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, potentially first lower high. If that's the case, you know, we should be pushing to the downside. So if we can break out that consolidation, because I don't want to take it now, because we can still break out this consolidation to the upside and start pushing on and just finding that strength to the upside. And you know, I don't want to be in that. I want to give myself the best opportunity possible, and a break of that consolidation to the downside would probably be the best entry point. I mean, I did say I do prefer price was to break to the upside, you know, create lower high, retest that trend line, then come down. But I'm not sure if it will do that because it is really, you know, rejecting that support bear term resistance. So it might not do that and might actually just break to the downside anyway. So we'll see if we get that. Hello, welcome back. How are you doing? Hope you are doing well. Welcome back to the stream. And we all have to dig deep in trading. We all have to dig deep in trading. I mean, we're all still trading really. I mean, no one's really. I mean, unless you've been in the trading game for like 5, 10 years, then maybe you can sit back. But I haven't. So we're all still training, we're all still learning. Nobody's the finished product, so no shame in that. But happy to have you back on the stream. Are there any pairs you're looking at getting involved with, or you're currently trading any pairs? Feel free to share. Take a look at them, see what's going on. The pairs that I'm looking at is gold. Looking for a nice sell on this pair to the downside, to take that down again. We push back into a really nice area up there, and then I'm looking for a big push to the downside, back down to 1772. Or USD JPY as well, if you can respect that area. That's so far we've seen some nice wicks to the upside. I want to see if that can continue, and then I'm looking at another push to the downside, back down to 109, 150 mark for USD JPY. So I want to see if we can get a bit of that. So far nothing yet though. Okay, glad to. You're short in Euro USD and Pound USD. Nice. Did you get in yesterday before the news, or are you just getting in this morning? Because Pound USD, I'm still looking at more downside for this pair. Daily, we are looking bearish here. I think we're just coming into retracement mode, especially with all that momentum to the downside. And I think we can come and get a test of this support here. As you can see, we had a nice double bottom here, 1-2, big push to the upside. False break of that level, form support down here. And yeah, I do think we can have another drive back into that level there. So I'm looking at Pound USD rolling over to the downside, back down to 1.36800, which is that level there. So yeah, Pound USD shorts back down to this level here. Yeah, that's cool. You don't always have to get in at the start of the move. Sometimes you catch halfway, sometimes you catch it towards the end. But yeah, Pound USD, Euro USD, I'm looking at more downside for these pairs. Pound USD is still in retracement mode. Euro USD is looking like it might be coming out of retracement mode, and continuation to the downside. Like I said, for Euro USD, we're coming back into all these wicks here that we had previously when we were at this support. So wick. Now we're coming back into that area, and I think if we can hold that, take out this prior low here, then we should be looking good for more downside for Euro USD. But yeah, I think it would be nice if you can get one more drive to the upside, form a lower high, then take it down again. Something like that. But we are looking good for more shorts there for Euro USD. Back down to these lows here, and maybe even further. Pound USD is just a little bit iffy for me because Pound is a bit stronger than Euro at this moment in time. And as you can see, the price action is still a little bit choppy there. So Pound USD, the retracement is not done yet. I'm not too sure where it could go to. I do have some levels in mind. We've got the obvious break and retest of support here. Nice psychological level there as well. 1.38 will now be turned resistance. So if you drive into there, that would be great, and sell off back again to the downside. I can see that happen there for Pound USD, but again, we might not retrace that much. We do have this level here, resistance there, support there will be term resistance, so we might retrace a little bit before that, then fall either way. When we do turn bearish, to be fair, it's really in the signs that price is going to take that dive to the downside is really in the price action, not too much with the level. Level does play a big part, but it's more with the price action. So again, you have to be quite on your toes, ready to react to what price action is giving us. Price action right now, is looking a little bit bullish there, so obviously not getting involved now, but 2 levels down, looking at getting involved. And when the price action is turning bearish, giving us that lower high, then yeah, it looks good to short back down again into that support, then back down to 1.36800. Same thing with Euro USD. Probably want to see that last drive to the upside, then take it back down again into those lows there. USD CAD still trying to push onto the upside again. USD CAD still broke through 1.26. We are still holding quite firmly above that area, so I'm still biased to the upside, still expecting that push on. Yeah, so we haven't quite broke it through. Like I said before, we haven't quite broke it through that candle, so I'm a bit skeptical here of USD CAD. I mean, I'm not skeptical as in of the direction, just skeptical whether we're actually breaking through, or we could be having another drive to the downside again before coming up. And if that does happen, if we do get another drive to the downside and we start holding that support, that's a good thing for me. Coming back into that support there for a third test, and if we do see some aggressive rejection again, that could be a nice buying opportunity, a nice triple bottom there, and then yeah, push to 1.26800 up there. And would you look at that? Thank you, Ronald, for subscribing. Love to see that. Welcome to the family. Happy to have you again, guys. Feel free to subscribe if you want to. I do go live every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. GMT. Feel free, again, just break down the market, see if we've got any opportunities coming our way. And yeah, feel free to chip in if you want to as well. But yeah, thanks for subscribing. Really do appreciate that. Morning, Jackson. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing well. You did miss gold, but just for you, I'll go through it again. I mean, not just for you, I'll do it for anyone, but yeah. Yeah, so for gold, for this one, I'm looking at more downside for gold. We did break through this trend line here yesterday. We came up to this key area, 1795, nice rejection from that level, took a nice dive to the downside, and we broke through this trend line here. So multiple tests of this trend line coming up. We broke through it, and then we're kind of moving in a bit of a channel overnight / this morning as well. Once we did break through that, as you can see, we're slowly moving to the upside, respecting that as our resistance, and we formed this new trend line as support. We finally broke through it again this morning with that bearish candle there, and now I'm looking to get short on gold to the downside. I think potentially here could be our first lower high, and if that is our first lower high, then we should be driving back down to that support there and back down into these lows here as well. So yeah, for me, I'm looking to get short if we can break through that consolidation. We do have support and resistance either side, so if you can break through that support, I'll look to get short. But like I said, we could actually break to the upside, push to the upside again, form a lower high, and then get involved. And then we'll probably have like a head and shoulders there, to be fair. But yeah, we could see another drive to the upside for gold, but I'm only looking to short it. It's coming up to a really key level, 1795 of resistance. If I go on the daily quickly, you can see where we are. Resistance all across there. It was turning support, and this is our first retest of that level. So I'm looking to get a short on gold to take it to the downside. And targets are at 1772, which is this level here. Price support. Last time we actually respected the trend line, so I'm looking to come back and see if we can respect that area again. So yeah, I'm looking for another drive back into 1772, but we could actually drop to 1760. Yeah, if we're looking very bearish, we could drop to 1760, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We could still push on. But yeah, if we can break out that consolidation, that would be great, and then I'll look to short it back down again. But if we do break to the upside, I'll wait for the lower high and then get involved. And my stops will be above this orange dot here, which is I'm suspecting to be our first lower high for gold. So I'll put my stops above that, and then yeah, looking to catch a move back down to this level here, and then maybe 1760 as well. So yeah, I'm biased to the downside for gold and just waiting for that break there, because we've broken through these two trend lines now. So that's two confluences there lining up that we could be moving to the downside. First trend line break, which is the major one, kind of had this smaller one break as well. Now consolidating, if you can break through to that to the downside, then yeah, the odds of price moving to the downside are quite high, and it does look like a good probable trade there. So yeah, gold to the downside is looking good for me, and yeah, push back down to 1782, which is that support first, because we can still come back, you know, form a double bottom here and then push on. That could still happen, but if you can break through that 1772, then 1760s. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting for gold. No problem, Jackson. Happy to help. Happy to help. Again, guys, if there's anyone else out there looking for pairs, want me to analyze any pairs they're looking at, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll make sure I'll get back to you. You know, analyze the pair, see what any opportunities coming our way. But yeah, thanks guys for joining the stream, and drop a like if you're enjoying the stream as well. You know, does really help the channel out. It helps me out as well. So you know, feel free to do so. But yeah, the main pairs I'm focusing on, like I said, is gold for move to the downside, and USD JPY as well for move to the downside. We're coming back into this key area. Again, I'm very still bearish on USD JPY. I'm looking for a push back down into these lows here, and we've got all this support now, term resistance. So if we can just hold that area, shorts will be looking good back down to this level here, and if we can break through that back down to that level there as well. So far the price action is not quite there yet. We've seen a lot of wicks there, so there's clearly rejection there, there's clearly resistance there, sellers are getting involved, but they haven't won the battle yet. The bulls are still winning. You can see you've got these wicks to the downside, which I don't like. We're seeing rejection there, so I want to see if that momentum could switch, come back to the bears, pull back, and then get involved maybe on the lower time frames to the downside. But yeah, USJPY, I'm looking at shorts from that level there to the downside. Not much there yet. I want to see a bit more rejection. Gold's looking a little bit better if you can break out those lows. And the 50-minute can get involved themselves there quite soon-ish. We do have some USD news coming out later, so gold might be affected by that depending how we move. But nonetheless, expecting more downside for gold anyway. USD CAD as well, looking for a drive to the upside. Again, I think if we can get a strong close above that, we've broken through that trend line. Now wait for the lower high. I keep saying that. Wait for the higher low to form, and then yeah, drive back up to 1.268. That's good. So that's another opportunity could be looking at there for USD CAD. Euro USD, looking at sales as well for this one. Nice wicks there as well. So we're holding this area. And I think if we can push on, that would be great. I mean, we've come back into this support, and as you can see, we're respecting that so far. So I don't think it's ready to sell just yet for Euro USD. But we could be warming up for one. If we can come up again, form a lower high, now I think we could be involved for a nice sell-off. You know, kind of like our head and shoulders here. Been seeing a lot of these patterns in the charts lately. But yeah, I think we could be involved for some shorts for Euro USD back down to those lows. Maybe even further, because again, you know, we are still quite bearish in the higher time frames, so you know, we could really push on to the downside for Euro USD. But for that move, I'll probably want to see price to retrace a lot more before I look to, you know, push that trade a lot more. As you can see, we haven't had much retracement there. If I get a fib on that move there, you can see we haven't even reached the 0.382. So if I do look to sell this, it's going to be very short term, in and out the same day. And if I'm looking to swing the pair, I want to see a lot more retracement. You know, price getting back to the 50% or even more than that. To be fair, you know, pushing back into these areas, that would be nice, and then come down again. But without retracement now, I think a slight push back down to these lows, maybe a lower low, and then we might start pulling back up again. Or of course we could melt to the downside. No one knows really what's going to happen, or so they tell you. Yeah, and same thing for pound USD as well. Looking for some retracement to take this back again to the downside. So far we're getting a bit more healthy retracement for pound, so you might see a bit more mileage on this one, but euro is just a bit weaker, so pound might struggle for that move to the downside. But yeah, from here I think a sell-off, or from that level there, nice break and retest 1.38, nice psychological level there as well. Back down to 1.368 does look good as well. So yeah, I'm seeing more downside for these USD pairs, and expecting DXY, US dollar, to see some upside and take out those highs there, because I've drawn these highs here. Nice liquidity above that. So many stop losses. Just above this area here, and I think we're going to take them out and then might see a dive, or we could take them out and go and push on to the upside. We'll find out when we do that, or if we do that. But yeah, I'm expecting more upside for the DXY. So Euro USD, Pound USD look good for some sells. Yeah, sure, we'll take a look at NZD JPY for you. Okay, so NZD JPY pair is looking very bearish right now on the higher time frame. The daily looking bearish. We've taken out that wick, but I do suspect us to be moving a little bit more to the downside for this one. I'm quite firmly on a bearish trend here in the higher time frames, but I do think more downside for this pair. We are coming into an area of support. As you can see here, support did fund this big move to the upside. Now coming back into that same area again. Price action here, we've seen a slight bullish reaction to the upside there, as you can see. Oh, another follow-up. We love to see that. Thank you again for joining the stream. Well, not joining the stream, joining the gang, subscribing does mean a lot. Happy to have you. But yeah, as the JPY for this one, coming back into the support, and I do think if we can hold on to this, then we might see another drive to the upside back into these highs. But if we do break underneath, then I think NZJPY, we're just going to see a lot more downside, because NZD is really weak here, and I think we could actually see a little bit more downside for this one. So yeah, I think if we can break through these lows here, a nice break and retest, something like that, then yeah, I think a push down to 75, because 75 is our next psychological level. We've broken through 76. In fact, we've used 76 as our resistance, so that's a good thing as well. So yeah, if you can break through that support there, and looking at a drive back down to 75. You're looking to sell NZJPY. Because yeah, I'm agreeing with you. It's just that we got support there, so it's probably not the best place to look to sell the market, unless you've sold it up there at that 76 area. That'll be a nice entry point. But I wouldn't sell it right now. I'll probably wait for price to retrace, form a lower high or retest that previous high and then come down, or wait for the break and retest of that support, because it did hold this support here. We had a nice consolidation, nice false break, and a massive move to the upside. So don't really want to be selling into that too much. And yeah, if you're looking to sell into that, you probably want to get involved up there somewhere, or wait for price to push up again, lower high, take it down, or probably the safer option is probably to wait for price to break, retest the resistance, and then come down, test 75 down there. So yeah, I'm favoring more downside for NZJPY. Like I said, NZD pretty much throughout every pair is looking quite bearish. So NZD is definitely a weak currency at this moment in time. I'm still expecting more downside, and a lot of JPY pairs are actually expecting more downside as well. So I do agree, more downside for NZJPY, but we might be seeing a bit of retracement, because we are still holding on to this support. You remember, it is support, even though we are expecting NZJPY to sell off. We do have to make sure that we're not directly selling into support, because in terms of the entry point is just not in our favor. So wait for price to either push back up, retest this high, or push back up, form a lower high, and they can get involved in some shorts, or the break and retest option is still looking good as well. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you there. More downside for NZJPY. I'll probably wait for price to pull back up first, because I don't want to sell into that support at 75 500 there. So I think if you can break through that, we can see a push back down to 75 down there, but just quite not yet for this pair. But yeah, I do agree. We are still looking quite bearish there, and I think the next psychological level 75 looks good for target. UCJY looks like we're pushing to the upside here, so again, that's why it's so important to wait for the price action to come through. And as you can see, we are looking bullish here, so if price does keep that up, you can push a lot further. And again, I said my second area of interest is up here, so if you can actually see a push to this level, then I'll let the short it back down again, because yeah, it looks like we might be breaking through this area. So if that's the case, I'll just leave that alone. Gold's looking good, looking like we're breaking to the downside. With that momentum there, so yeah, I think I'll look to get short on gold now. Take this to the downside, look for something like this, short there, stops above there, and short it back down to this area, and then you can get a break of that, short back down to 1760 down there. So it's looking good for gold. I think we could be in for some nice shorts there. We'll get a break of that. So we basically just had a break and retest of this support. So support there, last time we respected that trend line as support, retest that as resistance, and as you can see, we're starting to sell off now from that area. So I think momentum is definitely with the bears here, you know, breaking through two trend lines now. One, pullback; two, consolidation slash pullback. And you know, if we do sell off now, it's looking good. So yeah, I'll probably look to get short now on gold actually. To be fair, we are at 11:45, so I might just wait for the next hourly candle to close, because we will get the 2 hour candle closing there as well. So I'll probably wait for that candle to close and see what happens. So yeah, I'll give it another 15 minutes. If you push on, we push on. Still get short anyway, but yeah, it's looking good here for gold. I think this is the pair I'll probably trade. UCG while it's like a break into the upside, so I'll probably just leave that alone. Monitor that throughout the day. Maybe you get an opportunity tomorrow if you can really see some upside, but I'll leave that alone. To be fair, if I'm expecting to see DXY strength come in, that means I'm expecting to see, you know, USD strength. Hence, you know, UCGY should be pushing up, which it is doing. If I was incorrect with that bias, you know, this would be failing to the downside, but it isn't pushing up. So it looks like my bias could be correct there. You know, hence why gold is looking a little bit bearish here. So I'll give it another 15 minutes, wait for that hourly candles to close, 2 hourly candles to close, and then yeah, I'll look to short this to the downside, back down to 70.60. But I do have, you know, other targets. 70.72 will be a target as well. We could even push past 17.60, but like I said, I'm a bit skeptical short in gold, so I'm waiting for extra confirmations. You can see we've got two trend line breaks here, break and retest there, break out that consolidation. So we've got a lot of things stacked in our favor here for gold. Before we get to some sales, because like I said, I can still see gold pushing to the upside a lot more on the higher time frames. So if I do short it, you know, I will look to get partial stops to break even, because we could find support and start pushing to the upside quite aggressively there for gold. So I am aware of that, but I think shorts do look good for this pair. Euro USD, what we're doing with Euro USD, this one's still respecting this support here. Again, like I said, if you can form that head and shoulders there, that would be nice, and then take again to the downside, back down to these lows down here, and then we could probably shoot a lot further there as well. Pound USD, still looking bullish. Yeah, still looking bullish there as well. So it looks like pound is seeing some strength pretty much throughout most pairs. Pound JPY we're pushing up, pound AUD we're pushing up, Pound CAD pushing up. Pound CHF pushing up. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of strength in the pound. So yeah, clearly pound is quite strong this morning. Hence why Euro USD, like I said, is probably the better sell. Euro pound falling to the downside. I do suspect Euro GBP to get down to this area here. So that does mean Euro is going to be weakening the pound. So if you are looking at Euro USD and pound USD, I think Euro USD will probably be the better pair to take. Simply because Euro is going to be weaker. Of course, that's if you're looking to sell. If you're looking to buy, pound will be better. USD CAD, we're still trying to push on. We've got about 10 minutes or so, a little bit over 10 minutes before this hourly candle does close. So if we can really push on, get a nice confident, strong break of this trend line, then yeah, I think we're looking good for a push back up to 1.26800. But if we're pulling like that, it's not really the best scenario. It might mean that we might take another dive to the downside, back down to these lows, and then drive up. And again, if that does happen, that just presents us a nice opportunity to get back involved in some buys if you're looking to get involved for USD CAD. But like I said, as long as you stay above 1.26, that level, I'm so poor at drawing straight lines. But yeah, 1.26, as long as you stay above that, which is this level here, I think push to this level here does look good. Maybe even higher, but for DXY pushing on, USD CAD has a good chance pushing on as well. You also saw a daily close above that area, so not only are we above on the 4H, we're above on the daily, so that's good multi-time frame analysis, multi-time frame confluence, and then if you can push on, that's what I'm expecting. But if we do pull back, which we are doing so far, that doesn't fill me with much confidence. In fact, if this actually does pull back and close bearish beneath that trend line, then the odds of price pushing to the downside are actually quite high. So probably we'll look for that, third push to this low here, see if we can get, more rejection. We saw a nice rejection here. If we can get rejection there again for a third time, then yeah, a triple bottom does look good for buys. But yeah, that could be a setup maybe for late in the New York session, or maybe tomorrow morning during London. But we'll see. Like I said, we've got about 10 minutes before this candle closes, so a lot could happen in 10 minutes. We could actually be closing up here in 10 minutes time. So we'll see what happens. A lot of the movement of a candle normally happens in the last quarter before the candle does close. You see that with pretty much all time frames, really, daily candles well, like ADNZD yesterday. You can see if I go in the daily time frame, I remember this is weekly. I remember yesterday we were talking about ADNZD yesterday on the stream, and yesterday on the stream we're trading just around these highs here, and I did say we've got like 10 hours before this candle's due to close. The chances of price pulling back are actually quite high, just because normally when you do see a massive bullish candle and we still got most of the candles to go, you do see them pull back quite a lot. And as you can see, we pull back so much there, more than I expected, to be fair. But yeah, we normally see that happen quite a lot of the time. So that's why it's so important to wait for candles to close, because they can be really deceiving. Because at one point this was looking very bullish here, and this is like a lower time frame, people will be getting in their buys, and then by the end of the candle it's closed, we're down there. I know the second candle's pushing back up well, but sometimes it doesn't happen. We actually push to the downside. So always wait for candles to close and then make your decision there. And actually it's more relaxing as well, because like here for USD CAD, if I'm looking to trade USD CAD here, and I'm waiting for that candle to close, I can just move away from my computer, do what I want, relax, chill, maybe set an alert on my phone, or time on my phone for when that hour is up, and then come back to my computer and then see. So I don't have to stare and look at my screen every day and just give myself analysis paralysis or stress or anxiety, any of that. You don't need any of that. So definitely wait for the candles to close. Got another 8 minutes. We'll see what happens there. Gold still looking good for some sells here. Looks like we're breaking to the upside. This kind of looks like it might be the retest, or it might break back in. If it does that, now I'll probably wait for the next 50 minutes candle to close. But yeah, if we can stay just below, that'd be great. And then I'll probably look to get in on that hourly candle close in like 9 minutes time. And then yeah, ride gold to the downside. USD JPY, you know, we're looking a little bit too bullish there for me, so I'll probably just let this one slide. See what it wants to do. You know, it could be a false break as well. I do have to take that into account. You know, we could be pushing up here, push straight back down next candle, then sell off. That'll be a good opportunity as well. So I will be monitoring it, seeing what happens, and if I do get an opportunity, I will let you guys know in my Telegram channel. I do have a Telegram channel, so feel free to go check that out if you haven't already. It's on the live chat. If you scroll up to the top, it's the second message, or if you check my description, it's also there as well. So feel free to check out the Telegram. I post trades in there, different opportunities. Feel free to get involved, or just watch it if you want, whatever. But yeah, be sure to check that out. And if I do get an opportunity like the gold trade, if I do get an opportunity on gold there, I will be posting that in the Telegram. Same for usage JPY. Get an opportunity on this one to short, I will post it in there. But right now it's looking bullish, so if that does keep up, yeah, I'll just stay away. But yeah, guys, we are coming into the end of the live stream. Another 5 minutes or so before the live stream does end. So if any of you guys want me to take a look at any different pairs, you got your eyes on some pairs on your watch list, you want me to take a look at them, drop it down in the chat, and I'll take a look at them and see what's going on. Or if you're in any trades, feel free to share or take a look at them as well. So yeah, I can do that just before the live stream does end. But for now, it's looking like gold is the pair that I'll let's get involved in some shorts to the downside. USDCHF is pushing up, like I said before. I said if this pair can push up, that would be great, because I think we can see a nice breakout to the upside and then push into this level. Because I said on the daily for this one, either two things that they're happening. So either price is forming a head and shoulders, so we've obviously spiked to the downside, spike back up again, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then we could be seeing a drive to this level here again, or price is having a double top, and if we can break through that support, get a nice daily close below, then we'll probably see that downtrend starting to kick in again. So either one of those two things are happening, and I'm going to wait to see how price reacts with that support. So far it's reacting quite bullish, so it looks like we might be seeing the first example happen, the head and shoulders to the upside. So yeah, I think some buys could be looking good here for USDCHF. And what we're seeing on the low time frames and the hourly, it's looking like we are seeing that momentum to the upside. So yeah, USDCHF to the upside is looking good. Nice break and retest, could be something like that on the 15-minute. Looks like a good opportunity. But nonetheless, like I said, looks like we've seen some strength in the US dollar. USDCHF's pushing up, USD pushing up, USDJPY is pushing up, gold pushing down, Euro USD pushing down, pound USD. Well, I was kind of doing a bit of both because pound is quite strong. AUD is pushing down probably. Yeah, well, AU is quite weak anyway. Same thing for USD. So yeah, we are seeing some strength across the board, but do take into account, guys, we do have some news coming out at 1:30, so that could change. So just because we know we're looking like USD is strong now, don't just go put all your money on, I don't know, short Euro USD, because that could change with news. Yeah, so do make sure you manage your risk out there. Stay safe. Want to be in the game for the long run. But But yeah, on the candle closure, I'll probably look to get involved in some shorts for gold, because it's like this candle in the 15 minute, a nice break and retest. So breaking the 15, now getting a retest, and could be getting a follow through there as well. So yeah, we've got about 3 minutes or so before I get involved in that trade, and I'll post that on the Telegram channel as well. So make sure you go and check that out. But yeah, it's coming up to the live stream, so I'm going to do a quick rundown of all the pairs that, well, not all the pairs that do look good for some moves. So, you know, pairs that look good for some opportunities either later today or later this week. And yeah, and I'll wrap up the live stream from there. So gold, like I said, shorts do look good. I'm going to get short this one on the candle closure, which is about 2 minutes from now. To back down to 1760, but I'll be looking at 7072 as the first target, and 7060 down there as the second target. USJPY was looking at some shorts. Excuse me, was looking at some shorts, but it's looking too bullish here. So yeah, we'll sit on the sidelines for USJPY, because I do have this secondary here, and I think that's probably where price might be going to. USDCHF looks good for some buys here on the break and retest, or you could look to buy now, to be fair, on that candle closure. The risk to reward might not be the best, but it does look like a good opportunity, like taking a buy, something like that, back up to these highs up here. Risk to reward is about a 2.62, so not too bad. Not the best, but not too bad. But yeah, I think more upside for USDCHF is looking good. USD CAD, this one's pulling back a little bit, so like I said, it's always wait for that candle closure. We're pulling back there, doesn't fill me too much confidence, so it looks like CAD might be seeing some strength as well. CAD JPY pushing to the upside a little bit. So USD CAD, I think for this one the best opportunity is if we can have another dive to the downside, retest that support, form a triple bottom, so see some nice wicks, some nice rejection, and they can get involved in some longs to the upside and take that up to that level up there around 1.26800. So that's probably what I'll be favouring for USD CAD. But yeah, right now I'm not seeing much, especially with that candle pulling back like that. I don't like to see that at all. And we've got about a minute left before that candle closes. Pound USD, looking at some shorts here. If price can push up a little bit more, that'd be great, and take it down again. But nonetheless, we are, you know, in retracement mode, and I still suspect to see a move back down to 1.36800. So if you can break through that trend line or something like that, and then sell it down again, something like that. But Pound USD looks good for sales back down to these lows. Euro USD looks good for sales back down to these lows as well. Looks like we're seeing that follow through happening right now. So yeah, it looks like we're seeing that USD news across the board look weak. Seeing the 15 minute will break into the downside out of those lows. So yeah, I'm seeing another push back down to this level here for Euro USD, maybe even further. Again, I wouldn't push it too much because the retracement isn't much. But yeah, I can see more downside for Euro USD. And any other pairs that I'm looking at. Pound JPY, I want to see a bit more retracement on this one. Still looking a little bit bullish here. Bias to the sell, so I wouldn't say I was quite ready yet. So yeah, nothing much there, but we'll stay away from that one for now. But yeah, looking to get short on gold there, take it to the downside. We'll get that trade in. I also posted it on my Telegram channel, so make sure you go check that out. But guys, it is the end of the live stream now. I'm going to look to jump into this trade, and you can check it out on the Telegram if you want to. But thanks again for joining the live stream. I'm live again tomorrow, Thursday, from 10 AM to 12 PM GMT. So make sure you're there to check that out. But yeah, it's the end of the live stream, guys. Subscribe, like for more, and I hope I can see you again tomorrow.